Hello guys, this is Jason Lanier here, and we are going to be doing a live stream today. I have a little bit of a different setup, so I am trying to just get accustomed to it. I need to know from you guys what you guys think about everything. Turn off the air conditioning, it's too loud. But no, I'm here in Fedora Nation Central here in the my little studio here, and we're going to do a live stream for you. I'm going to allow a few people to I'm going to allow some more people to come on, but the purpose of today's live stream is to go through my favorite lenses with you guys, kind of go through exactly what it is that you guys would like to know about lenses, and hopefully I can help you. It's going to be a fun time, and we're going to go through it. I have my camera bag here. I'm going to try to field questions now. Normally I have somebody here helping me, but I do not today. I'm flying solo today, so because of that, I'm going to, whatchamacallit, because I'm flying solo today, I'm going to have to try to field the questions, and there's already a lag on questions. So what I'm going to do for you guys is kind of go through some of my favorite lenses, go through, kind of give you a review on the lenses and what I use them for, and then give you guys an understanding as to why I use and what I use them for, and more importantly, how I think they could help you in your work. I think that's the most important thing that we're looking at here. So let me start off this video by saying I could care less what you shoot with. I don't care if you shoot with Nikon, Canon, Sony. I don't care. My purpose is not to sell you Sony lenses. My purpose is not to sell you any gear. My purpose is to show you what I use, and if you decide to use it for you, great. If not, find whatever works for you. That's why I end every single video by saying, find the right gear that works for you. So let's just get that out of the way. Second thing is, guys, I only talk about lenses that I use. I don't talk about hypothetical lenses and lenses that are beyond the reach of normal human beings. $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 lenses. Yeah, people in Hollywood use those, but let's just get something right. Us normal human beings, us normal people that walk around the planet, you know, if we're dropping $1,500 on a lens, that's an investment. That's a big, huge investment. So I want to make it abundantly clear to you guys that I am one of you, and I may have a YouTube channel with a big following now, and I'm a Sony artisan, and I don't take any of those things for granted, and I'm very appreciative of the fact that is the case. But that doesn't mean that I don't remember where I came from and what I can do to keep you guys in mind. The other thing to keep in mind, guys, is with these lenses that I'm going to talk about is the fact that even though these are for Sony, there's going to be somewhat equivalence with Nikon or Canon. I'm not so sure about Fuji, Pentax, Samsung, whatever. I'm talking about the big three when we come to lenses. So all of the lenses that I'm going to be talking to you guys about will be related to that, and I'm just going to give you guys my honest feedback. You guys can take it for what you will. So with that being said, without any further ado, if I'm looking down, it's because I'm looking at myself, trying to see whether or not I've lost weight. I've been working my butt off to try to lose weight, because I am really going to bring it. I'm just telling you guys, I'm going to bring it. So I am bringing it, and I am losing weight. So I hope you guys are able to see the fruits of my labors. So without further ado, let's get started. So for those of you who know me, this won't be any surprise, but for those who don't, I am primarily a portrait photographer. I used to do a lot of weddings. In my career, I've shot maybe 300-400 weddings. 400 maybe a little bit too much. It's probably in that 300 range, 350 range maybe. I haven't sat down and done a count on all of them. I'm not going to, but it's in that range. I've shot weddings all over the world, and I did that for I've been a professional photographer for about 9 years. 9 years and a couple months. So in March of 2017, will be my decade. That'll be a decade as a paid shooter. As a full-time dedicated photographer, I have been doing that for just a couple of years. Who knew? Work hard, kiddos. Work hard. My goal, take over the planet. Have a good time. But today my goal is to have a good time and share with you guys lenses. So again, I've shot a lot of weddings. I've shot sporting events, things of those natures. Things of that nature. I've shot a lot of portraits, but but at this point in my career, what I'm primarily doing I'm doing a lot of portrait photography. I am going to talk about weddings. I am going to talk about what I do with portraits, but really right now it's all about portraits for me. And your lens options, your lens choices are going to affect or going to be affected by, well, quite frankly, what you shoot. For those who don't know, I do lots of workshops all over the world. You can go to jasonlanier.com/workshops if you guys want to come to one. But I do lots of workshops all over the world, and when it's inevitable, and it's fine. It's one of the reasons people come to workshops. It's inevitable that people are going to come and ask me a question about gear. And whenever someone asks me a question about gear, I always tell them there's two things I need to know before I answer this question. Number one, what do you shoot? What do you shoot will dictate the lens that you need. Number two, how much money do you have to spend? For the most part, just to be honest, for most of us, a lens has usually a very nice version and a cheaper version. Now, that's not true for all lenses, but it is true for most things as it relates to photography. With Nikon, you can buy an 85 1.4, you can buy an 85 1.8. Doesn't sound like a lot, doesn't sound like a big difference. Well, there's a huge difference. It's like $1,500 difference in price. Same's true for 50mm lenses. You can buy a cheapy version. I mean, the Canon Nifty 50, that little plastic thing that it's plastic and it's like $100, but it produces some pretty cool results. Who knew? But you gotta work around what works best for you and the kind of things that you shoot. So for the photographers out there, for those who are well established and you're looking at watching this video for some insider feedback as to what I do, this will be very beneficial. For those photographers who are starting your journey or are kind of in the middle, maybe beginning or intermediary levels, well, I hope this helps. Guys, I've bought all the cheapest crap in the world. I've bought all the off-brand lenses. And I'm not going to bash lenses, but I've bought a lot of them. So when I'm giving you guys advice, it's because I bought a lot of them, and some of them really sucked. And I just want to give you guys an honest feedback as to what I use and why I use it. So when I stop like that, I'm filtering myself. I'm trying to make sure that I don't say something because it is live. This is normally when we would be editing something. It's normally when I would say something really stupid, and Jason, my camera guy, would be laughing, and I'd know, well, we're probably going to cut that out of the video. So I'm going to do my darndest to, number one, say nice things, and number two, to not say anything that I regret too badly. So with that being said, guys, portrait photographer, what's my first lens of choice? Drum roll. You guys already know the answer to this. You already know. My favorite lens is the G Master, the 85 G Master. I love this lens. If I only had one lens that I could take anywhere in the world with me, and I get these types of questions all the time, if I could only have one lens that I could take anywhere, what would it be? And it would be the 85 G Master. I've used lots of 85s in my time. I've used the 85mm from Canon, the 1.2, fantastic lens. I've used the Nikon. The Canon struggles a little bit with focusing, but the renditions, the rendering from that Canon can be pretty amazing. The Nikon 85 1.4, it's a really nice lens. I was a little underwhelmed by it, to be honest with you guys. It didn't blow me away. Maybe it's because it's smaller. I mean, the Canon and the Sony are definitely bigger than the Nikon, so it didn't blow me away. But the G Master I absolutely love. So I used the Nikon when I shot Nikon, and I used the Nikon 85 1.8, and I thought it was a pretty good lens. Both of them. I mean, I remember I was at Zion's National Park and I dropped my 85 1.8 on the ground and it literally rolled down the hill. That sucked. That's when I was a photographer and I was broke and I only had it's like a $250, $300 lens, but to drop that on the ground, you're screaming. And then you blow it off and you convince yourself that everything's okay. And then when it goes and stops focusing, you blame the lens. At any rate, I digress. So I love the G Master. I love the focal length of 85mm. That's the point I'm trying to get across here is whether it's Canon, Nikon, or Sony, I love the focal length of the 85. It gives a beautiful rendition. The bokeh on it, especially when you're going at 1.4. And for those who don't know, when I do shoot lenses and I shoot with wide aperture lenses, I shoot them wide open. You know, there's many who may disagree with this statement, but I think I don't see the point. Let me put it this way, again, filtering myself. I don't see the point in buying a 1.4 lens and shooting it at 1.8, or buying a 1.4 lens and shooting it at 2.2 or 2.8. I don't see the point. I think it's a waste of money. I mean, why? That's what I heard forever growing up in photography, right? Oh, it's 1.4, but it's sharp at 1.8. Well, that's stupid. It's like saying, oh, it goes 150 miles an hour, but it tanks at 100. Well, then why does it go 150? That's a waste of money. So when you guys buy a lens, right, if it's not sharp wide open, if it doesn't look great wide open, don't buy it. That's my opinion. That's my take. And again, it's one of the reasons why I said what I said about the Canon is the Canon, and I've used that Canon with the Metabones adapter, and I've used the Canon on Canon glass, on Canon bodies at my workshops. You know, I'm a Sony guy, but I still to this day have tons of Nikon and Canon people coming to my workshops, even Panasonic and Fuji. Not so much on those other two, but you guys get the point. Out of a workshop, I'd say Nikon and Canon are still at least 50% of the workshop, at least 60%, and Sony's maybe the other 40. So when you guys come to workshop, we have fun. We trade gear. We test things out. One of my friends, Tammy, came to my workshop in Atlanta last year, and she had the Canon 85 millimeter, and she was very frustrated by the focusing on it. And so I took it. She goes, I think my lens is broken. And she was expecting that I would take that lens and I would say, oh, well, I would gloat or say, yeah, Canon sucks or whatever. And then I would take it and say, yeah, this thing's a piece of crap. You should return it. But I shot with it, and I actually really liked it. She just needed to be a little bit more careful with the focusing on it, because it is a little bit finicky. Part of the reasons why I'm able to get away with shooting with the 85 millimeter 1.4 on the Sony is because it does the focus thing where it puts the box around people's faces. So for Sony shooters, not a Sony plug, I'm just explaining how I do things. For Sony shooters, it is a huge benefit that we can have facial recognition on the cameras, because it helps to get our eyes spot on. When I do videos and people are like, I go like this and I take a shot, like, oh, that sucks. I hate you because you take a shot just holding it out like this. Part of that is most definitely related to experience and skill and all that stuff. But a part of it is the focus system on the Sony enables me to do that. So I love the 85. I love the fact that it has an aperture ring on it. That's highly beneficial, especially when you're doing video type work and you want to go from black, you want to fade in, fade out. Being able to do that is fantastic. I love the feel of it. I know when the 85 came out, people are like, oh, it's so heavy and blah, blah, blah. I could care less. When you mix it with a lighter body, it's still lighter than what I was shooting with DSLR, so that's a plus for me. I love the focus lock on it, autofocus, manual focus switch, which almost all great lenses have it, regardless of what you shoot. So I really enjoy this lens. I really do. Why would it be the only one I could take? Well, because it's fast enough. For those beginners that are watching this, when a photographer refers to a lens as being fast, what they're really talking about is how bright it can make an image. So the lower number, so if I shoot at 1.4, it's letting in the most amount of light. The iris is moving way up. So when I shoot at 1.4 and bring all that light in, it's very fast. So it's a great lens for me to walk around and get shots. At a wedding, I'd say that 40% of the entire wedding is shot for me with an 85 millimeter. 85 is like a legendary focal length for photographers for decades, not just me. So when you guys are looking at lenses, for those of you out there, especially if you're starting, 85 millimeter, get a great one. If at first you can only get the 1.8 version for Nikon or Canon or Sony's, the baddest. The baddest is in my other bag. And I have my main camera bag here. I'm just going to pull from my lenses here because that's being most genuine with you guys. This is what's in my bag. This is my go bag. This is what I take with me. So 85 is my favorite. If I need to get closer, the funny saying, you can zoom with your feet. You can walk closer, walk further away, and then you can get a great shot with 85. I just love it. If I need to pop it open and shoot like a couple shoot for a wedding, it's not hard to do. I can actually take it and put it at f2, 2.2, 2.8, whatever. If the bride and groom are at the same focal plane, I can get them both in focus, which looks fantastic. You can also do some really cool effects to where you have one thing out of focus and the other thing is in focus. I mean, there's just a ton of benefits with shooting at 1.4 and shooting with an 85 millimeter. See, it's not only your aperture that allows you to take things and put them out of focus and create bokeh. It's also your focal length. So that 85 really is a sweet spot in the focal length of lenses to get some great shots. If someone told me that their shots sucked or that they were struggling with shots or struggling with the images they were creating, I'd ask them, do you have an 85 millimeter? If they said no, I'd say, go get one. Your shots are going to get better. They will. It's a beautiful length. It's great for first dances, daddy-daughter dances, again, wedding photographer. It's great for portraits. Obviously, it's a portrait lens. So indoor portraits, outdoor portraits. If you're shooting outdoors and there's a bunch of garbage everywhere, I do this all the time. You guys see the places I shoot. I shoot in insane places. Sometimes there's a bunch of crap and I don't want all of it in the shots. So guess what? Shooting it at 1.4, getting that 85, the further that you zoom into your subject, the more it's going to blur out stuff as well. So having that 85 there is fantastic for that purpose. Being able to shoot it at 1.4 is great. Of course, the question is going to be, how does it really stack up versus a 1.4 versus a 1.8? You don't know you need a 1.4 until you've shot with a 1.4. I guess is the best way to put it. If I'm a newer photographer, I'm starting off with a 1.8. It'll work. It'll work great. It'll work. It'll give me some pretty good results. The baddest, you guys know I love the baddest 1.8. I think it's the best. Well, no, it is the best 1.8 85 on the market, hands down. Is the G Master better than the baddest? Yes, it is. Is it significantly better? I think it is. But it's the G Master is more expensive, so you have to make that decision if it works for you. But if I'm a Nikon, Canon, Sony shooter, whoever you are, guys, make sure that you have an 85 in your arsenal, unless you're like purely wildlife or whatever else. Now that being said, even when I go to for those who don't know, I've shot such a wide variety of photography, from landscapes to wildlife to sports. I've shot NFL games, NBA games, Major League Baseball games. I've shot animals in the wild in Kruger National Park, South Africa, baboons, all sorts of stuff in Ethiopia. Guys, that you're talking to somebody, you're watching somebody who really has a lot of experience. That's important. You know, there's so many stupid channels out there where people are talking about lenses and they'll tell you how great it is. They read off some damn spec sheet. They have no idea what they're talking about. They never go out and shoot. It's ridiculous. I don't understand it. I don't understand how people are on YouTube. I don't understand why people watch people on YouTube who have no idea how to do photography. I don't get it. Am I having a meltdown? I guess I am. That's what happens when I'm live. I just don't understand how people watch people who have no freaking clue what they're talking about. You go to their website. If they have one, there's no website. Am I getting off track? Sorry, y'all. I'll stay on track. Focus, focus, focus. Okay. Watch people who are actually photographers is the lesson from that rant. Okay. So 85 is numero uno. What is numero dos? It is, for me, the 35. 35 millimeter. I love, 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 love this lens. Prior to the G Master, this was my favorite lens. It was this and then the baddest because of the beautiful renderings from this lens. Just the pictures. When I'm shooting, and currently the video that I have out before this one is I shot Kristen, my model and assistant. I shot her in a swamp and in Minnesota at my workshop. The workshop ended and I went out and shot her. And what are the two lenses I shot her with? If you guys want to know my bread and butter, baby, it's the 85 and the 35. Why do I love the 35? Well, keep this in mind. The 35 is a 1.4, so it'll still allow in everything I just spoke about. Lots of light, give me beautiful focus to defocus, beautiful bokeh, all of those things. I love the 35 because even though this is something that, and I'm only bringing it up because it happens at my workshops. People ask me, they'll ask me for my settings when we're shooting, and I'll explain to them that, well, if you're shooting with an 85 and I'm shooting with the 35, even though I'm at 1.4, 60th of a second, ISO 100, whatever the settings might be, your settings are going to be different, because if I'm shooting at 35, you're shooting at 85. Because my lens is wider, because it's wider, I'm allowing in more light. My lens allows in more light. So when I need a lens to suck in everything, when I need a lens, and my man Jason, who does my videos, we were shooting in Scotland at the Greyfriars Kirk Cemetery. You know, normally we'll roll our videos with one of the Sony video cameras or with like the RX10 II. But when we are at low light, we're switching to like the A7S II, and then I'm putting that 35 millimeter 1.4 on. Now, just for kicks and giggles, again, this is my second favorite lens. I don't want to convolute things, but this is the A6300 with the baddest 25 millimeter. The baddest 25 millimeter is an f2, and it's wider, right? Well, Jason and I did a video somewhere in Louisiana, top secret. I can't divulge yet, but you will see a video in the near future where these were our two widest and fastest lenses, okay? This lens slaughtered this lens. It slaughtered it. I don't know how else to put it. It killed it. It's not only the light that it lets in, the rendering is better. It's a smoother transition from focus to defocus. I just think it's a phenomenal lens, really. Now, these lenses aren't cheap, y'all. I mean, the 85G Master, I think, is $1,600. I think they're both around $1,600. Ain't cheap. If I was a wedding photographer, me, starting off, these are the two lenses I would get. Now, you're going to run around a lot. You're going to have to figure out a solution for the ceremony. But outside of the ceremony, you could do an entire wedding. An entire wedding off these two lenses. And I mean that. You could. Don't believe me? Look at the shots that I post. I'd say 85-90% of the shots that I post are shot with an 85 or a 35. Now, you guys can tell I'm kind of a prime lens type shooter. That begs the question on Sony's brand new 50 millimeter lens, you know, and of course 50 millimeters are just a thing of beauty. Currently, Sony has the 55 Zeiss 1.8. It is a really rock star type lens, if you ask me. People are asking me, have I been given or been allowed to use the new 50 millimeter from Sony? I have not. So hopefully that will happen in the near future. That was the filter you just saw. That was the filter. So when I am able to get my hands on that 50 millimeter, it may make it into the top 3. From what I have seen, we had a Sony Artisan call and they were extolling the virtues of this lens. It was really nice to be able to hear what everybody thought of the lens, and primarily it's the folks from Japan who have let a few lucky souls touch those lenses. But that 50 millimeter is something that I'm very anxious to get. I'm hoping to get it by the time I get back in the United States. I'm leaving for a trip soon. Hoping to get that lens. But at any rate, that 50 millimeter, guys, it's a wonderful lens. It's just a focal length, I should say. I haven't tested the lens, and because I haven't tested the lens, I don't know if it's good. Now, now it's not a G Master. See, this is a G Master. This is made entirely by Sony. The 50 millimeter is a Sony Zeiss, same as this. So all I can assume is if it's as good as this at 50 millimeters, I'm going to be having photogasms. That thing's going to be outrageously insane, and I'm very excited for that. So again, first 85, second is 35. The 50 will probably make it in there. Now, I did shoot the 50 Canon millimeter with the Metabones adapter on my A7R II for quite a while. I did love that lens. I did. That 50 millimeter on the Canon, it's a bad boy. It is. It's a bad boy. And why do I no longer shoot with it? Is it because someone told me not to shoot with it? Is it because I got in trouble? No, it's none of those things. It got stolen at my workshop. Did you guys know that? I never told anyone. My A7R II with my Canon 50 millimeter and my Metabones adapter, that's about $6,000 to $7,000 a year, were stolen in Dallas. So that's the same place that my bag was run over and stuff was stolen and my reflector broke. So I need a good reason to go back to Dallas. Let's just leave it at that. So 85, 35, and I just spoke about 50s. If I could have only one more lens to take around with me, what would it be? It would be this guy. It'd be the 16 to 35. 16 to 35. Now that's the landscape guy in me. That's because some shots I want to take and I want to get them at 16. I want them to be beautiful. That's very important to me, that I'm able to get out there if I'm shooting landscapes, wildlife. And you may say, wildlife? What do you mean? You don't want to zoom? No, I do. When I went to Kruger National Park, that was 4 or 5 years ago, I shot that with a Nikon D700 and the D3. And I shot that with the 28 to 300 Nikon lens, which, by the way, that is a good lens. That 28 to 300, I use that for wedding photography all the time for ceremonies. A Sony equivalent would be a 24 to 240. And I don't know if Canon has one that's like that. I don't know. I just don't know the Canon lenses as well. They could. But most people use a 70 to 200. When I shot wedding photography, I shot it with the 18. I shot it with the Nikon 80 to 200, just because it was cheaper. I bought it used off of B&H for like $500, whereas the 70 to 200 was $2,000. I didn't have that kind of cash back then, so I didn't buy it. So we'll get into zooms in a minute though. But with the 16 to 35, what was important was me being able to capture an entirety of everything. And that's just, guys, that just goes back to my roots. The thought of me going somewhere and not being able to capture everything that's there, it makes me want to scream. It actually makes me want to cry. And so I would never want that to be the case. So because of that, I would always take the 16 to 35. When I shot Nikon, there's a 16 to 35 and a 14 to 24 for Nikon. There's a 14 to 24 2.8 and a 16 to 35 f4. The 16 to 35 f4 is a little bit cheaper, and the 14 to 24 Nikon is like $2,000. The 16 to 35 f4 is $1,300, in that range. My buddy Vanden had the 14 to 24. I had the 16 to 35. It was great fun to play with the 14 to 24 at 2.8, but the corners weren't there for me. I used it at a wedding, and it was because it was such a wide angle lens. Was shooting it at 2.8, finding focus was very difficult for me with that lens. I loved the 16 to 35 f4 with Nikon. And when I switched over to Sony, and Sony had the 16 to 35 f4, I was thrilled. They announced it like four months after I switched, and I was thrilled, and I've loved it ever since. It's sharp all the way to the corners. It looks fantastic. That's another reason why having a really wide angle lens that's wider than f4 from an aperture perspective is a mistake, because it's just to me, it's gonna give you some funky looking stuff, and you don't want that to happen. So I do love this lens. It's performed very well. My lenses, guys, they're scratched. You probably can't tell on this, but they're scratched, and there's all sorts of stuff on my lenses. I use my gear. I do. I've used it when I shot Nikon, and I have been shooting more Canon glass since I switched to Sony. Obviously, I had no need when I shot Nikon. But I use my gear, and I want to make that clear. If this stuff isn't durable, I ain't going to use it. I'm not going to go out on a shoot and it fails me. There's been sand in this stuff. I'm not bragging about this. I try to take as great care of my gear as I can. But the honest truth is, guys, gear gets used. It does. So let's talk about so these are my top 3. Let's talk about if I could only take one more lens with me, what would it be? I'm going to go through my top 5 because I just realized that I'm not going to be able to do a top 4. My next favorite, this is hard. This is a tie, so I don't know how else to say. This is a tie. Okay. This is the 90 millimeter macro, and this is the 135 Sony Zeiss 1.8. Wedding photographers. Okay, let me break this down. If you're a wedding photographer, you need a 35, an 85, a macro, and you need a zoom. So probably 70 to 200. If you have those 4 lenses, you can shoot an entire wedding. Now I know what I just listed isn't cheap, yada yada yada, but a lot of photographers waste money on other lenses that are completely unnecessary, if you ask me. That's what I would buy. You need a macro lens. Now, for example, I'm about ready to get headed off to a trip to Honduras. Why would I take a macro lens down to Honduras? Why would I take a macro lens you know, on a photojournalism type trip? Well, because we're going to be sleeping in the jungle and stuff like that. It's not a joke. And how cool would it be to get a shot of some crazy looking insect or some crazy, you know, macro shots, guys, keep this in mind for weddings or for any other type of photography. Macro shots give you the ability to tell a story. Macro shots give you the ability to see something that the normal eye doesn't see. See, when we walk through a jungle, we're viewing it from a, however tall you are, 5 foot, 6 foot tall level, right? We're just walking through the jungle. How often do we really get down onto the ground and take a picture of some crazy looking insect or a flower or a bird, or whatever it might be, something that the normal eye doesn't catch? That's where macro photography is fantastic, and it's something that I absolutely love. It's why I make a point at every single wedding that I shoot to do macro shots of invitation, stuff like that, but I love to do macro shots of the rings. I love it. The bride and groom have never had and never will have macro shots to that quality level. Again, the kind that I can take for them at their wedding. So macro shots are great. I love, the other thing about a macro lens that I absolutely love is it's a backup portrait lens. Some folks don't know that a macro lens can be a phenomenal backup to an 85, for example. So this is a 90 millimeter. When I shot Nikon, I shot with a 105 millimeter macro. I did a lot of portrait shoots with that lens. I preferred the 105 macro for portraits over the 85-1.8, hands down preferred it. Okay. Now I have tested this like up against like the 85 millimeter Batis. This looks identical. Now this is only a 2.8 lens. This looks identical to the Batis at 2.8. I'm telling you, like almost virtually identical. I was shooting them with this in Sydney, Australia, and I shot the Batis at 2.8 and I shot this at 2.8. They looked exactly the same setting, same everything. One of them's an 85, the other one's a 90. They're very close. This really performed very well. So for those of you that are looking to get more of an all-arounder lens, you know, you want to get into the really fine work, really fine portraiture, or really wide aperture portraiture like you would with the 85G Master or one of the Nikon or Canon equivalents. This could be a great option for you. It really could. One thing to note is when you guys are shooting with these macro lenses, pay close attention to this. Pay close attention to these switches where it says full, or that it gives you a macro focus setting and then the portrait focus setting. That'll help you to focus faster with your macro lenses. See, a lot of people, they'll keep it on full, which is a mistake, because then this lens is hunting the entire length of its range, right? It's searching for everything. It's searching for that focus point, that contrast point. Well, the beauty of it is when you use these different settings on here, it focuses much faster. I'd say it cuts down the focus hunting. It focuses at least 2 to 3 times as fast. I mean it. Okay? Because if you're shooting portraits with somebody, you're telling the lens, don't even look at macro stuff. Just start like 3.5 feet out and then try to focus. Conversely, you can say, hey, I just want to do macro shots right now, so focus 3.5 feet or closer. That's how these macro lenses work. And for those who utilize it in that way, it focuses much faster. My last lens that I would have, if I had to take, would be the 135 1.8 Sony Zeiss. This is remarkable. This lens I fell in love with. This is a legendary lens in the pantheons of Sony. I absolutely love this lens. The only downer about this lens isn't the actual lens. It's the fact that the lens has to be adapted. So this lens, I have to use the LAEA4 adapter with it because this is an A-mount lens. So this is part of Sony's DSLR lineup. Now they call it DSLT, but for the normal person, we see a body camera, everything that looks like a DSLR. To us, it's a DSLR. So this lens on the A7R2, A7 II, on the A6300 focuses pretty well. Does it focus as good as a native lens? No, it doesn't. And the other thing that when you use a lens like this, an adapted lens, is now not for some of the Canon ones. This is more for the screw drive mount lenses. You lose a lot of the focal points. You'll only have a cluster in the middle. So you guys should know that. Just putting that out there. So what else, guys? What else can I talk about with you guys? I think the only thing we really didn't cover were the 70 to 200s, right? This is the 70 to 200. And this same kind of thing here. They even have a switch to where you can focus from infinity to 3 meters out, or you can focus full, which is really pretty awesome, because then you can tell the lens how to focus faster. Now this is the f4 version. No, I do not have the G Master version of this lens. That's not something that I have access to. So this lens, I'm sure the G Master, I guess the good thing about the G Master, if we're going to talk about it, is the G Master, I expected it to be like $3,000. I mean, the rumors were $3,000, $3,500 for that lens, which I thought would have been ridiculous, to be honest with you. Luckily, it's still expensive. It's still $2,600, which is more expensive than Canon and Nikon's, but hopefully it's worth it. I'll be able to tell you guys what I think when I use it. But the 70 to 200 obviously is like one in the holy trinity of lenses for most folks, especially wedding photographers. So that 70 to 200 is great. I just use it a lot at the Indian wedding. That lens is on my camera for wedding ceremonies. That's when I use it, because you don't want to get so close where you know, if you shoot with an 85 or 35 or whatever else, you're not going to be able to get ring shots, some of those detail shots, just a shot of the person smiling. You're not going to be able to get that when you're shooting with anything that is like this, 90 millimeter, 85, 135 you could, but then you're stuck. So when you're shooting event type photography, that's where the 70 to 200 is going to be fantastic, because it's going to give you the ability to zoom in and zoom back out very, very quickly. And the constant aperture is what you want, because you don't want it changing. See, there's a bunch of 70 to 300 kind of cheaper lenses out there, but a lot of them are like 3.5 to 5.6. So when you do that, you're really limiting yourself, because you either have to put it at the most narrow aperture, like not the most narrow, but you have to put it the most narrow where it will zoom throughout the focal length, or the aperture will work throughout the focal length from 70 to 300. So if you're shooting 5.6, that's great, because then you can treat it as a constant aperture lens. The problem is it's not very fast. It's at 5.6, it's not letting in a lot of light. It's a struggle in and of itself to do it with the f4 at times if it's really dark inside. Now the Indian wedding I just shot, it wasn't a problem. There was a good amount of light in there, as there is with a lot of places, but inside of a reception hall, you would want a 2.8. There's no doubt. I mean, even when I'm shooting inside of a reception hall, I don't like to shoot at 2.8. I like to shoot at 1.8, 1.4, so on and so forth. So when you guys are shooting out there, keep that in mind. I hope that this has been beneficial for you guys. I'm going to take some questions. I haven't been able to look at any questions or comments because I would get distracted, so just so you guys know. So I'm going to open it up now. I'm going to put a few of these guys away as we're going. That way I don't smack them over if I get very passionate about a certain point that I want to talk about. But again, guys, I hope this has been beneficial. I do have a lot of experience in different types of stuff, different types of photography, and hopefully I'm able to impart some of that wisdom to you guys. So now that I have pretty much all of them away and I'm not going to destroy anything, I'm going to move this over. Check this out here. See where we're at. And I'll take as many questions as I can. I cannot guarantee everything that I can take, guys, but I will do my bestest. All right. Skadoosh. All right. Oh my gosh, there's lots of questions. All right, so here we go, guys. And I'm going to turn on the air conditioner because I'm going to burn to death. All right, so here we go. There's a freaking lot of questions. All right. Everyone's saying hi to each other. How much is a workshop? Workshops are about $800 for 2 days. I don't know if people are talking to each other, so I'm just going to leave that alone. When there's a, I love Jason, but I hate fedoras. Thank you, Jamie, the King one. I could care less. I like the G Master 85, but wasn't fast enough autofocus to catch my 1-year-old. That could be your settings too, brother. Peter Mueller, Metabones and Tamron 24-70, 2.8 plus Sony A7R2, a good combination. I don't know. I haven't used the Tamron. So if Tamron wants to send me a couple to use, I'd be more than happy to take a look. One lens that I did like from Tamron was a 15-30. That was a really nice lens. And one lens I didn't talk about was a 24-70 G Master, and that's obviously the Holy Trinity, part of the Trinity for Canon, Nikon, and Sony. 24-70, I did use it with Sony, and I thought it was a great lens. But if I'm gonna, I don't know. When you guys use like that 35-1.4, it's pretty intoxicating. So as you can tell, I'm not huge into 2.8 lenses. I'm much more into faster lenses. But if it works for you guys, it's great. Somebody wants to know, what low budget high-speed sync flash can I buy? Probably the Godox would be my recommendation. Somebody says yes. Feel free to say what you want. Hello, bro. Where can I buy a new camera, Sony, with nice price? Probably B&H Photo. Sony has the fastest continue. Okay. I love the fact you emailed from DSLR to mirrorless. I did the same. Fantastic. Still have a kit lens. Perfect. I have a Samyang 85 for my Sony 57. I love it. Awesome. I'm disappointed that Jason hasn't come up with the storage for the Sony A7S 87. I think it means A7S2 and the G Master inside of his Fedora. He can wear it and then pull it out whenever. That's pretty funny. He shoots lenses. Okay. If I agree, if it's not sharp, wide open, then I don't care for it. Yep. Jesus Lopez, I love your name. Oh, he said that to somebody else. Jason, you are a no-nonsense guy, no BS, and you tell it like it is. Well, thank you, Chuck. I appreciate that, brother. I'm probably going to buy a 70-300 Nikon lens. I wouldn't do that. Do you have a link for the lens on B&H? I could put links to these lenses after I'm done. I want to know, Jesus Lopez, I want to know what the best prime lens for traveling, like taking street or landscapes. It's either going to be a 50 or an 85, if you ask me. Bought the A7R2 and the 24-70. What should I get next? Again, it depends on what you shoot. That's from Mike Helmick. I would probably go with an 85. Hey, Jason, which 85 for Nikon if money wasn't a problem? Or the 1.4, yeah. What macro lenses for portraits? Any of the Nikon, Canon, or Sony macros are going to be pretty good for that stuff. I have the Nikon 50mm 1.4 and an 85-1.8. Currently have fave Nikon lenses, the 12-24. But to be honest, I now almost always use my X Pro 2 with 35mm f2 for, yeah, I understand. Do you ever use zoom lenses? I kind of answered that in there. Thank you. Anyone out there have an A7 II? I want to get one. Let me see. A7R2, fabulous. Thank you. 1635 is a good zoom. That is true. The 24-70 G Master has amazing color. It is like it has a computer processor built in. Yeah, it is pretty awesome. Let me see here. I'm just reading through all your guys' stuff. There's tons of it. Jason, sorry for the caps, but I'm going to a Cowboys game soon, the practice game, so I was wondering what lens I should rent. I could only rent one. I don't know, brother. Depends on what you shoot. When I shoot the NFL games, I'm shooting with the 70-400 Sony, which is an A mount lens. They suffer from gas. Yes, they do. Love his It's Ridiculous. Well, thank you, Evan. Me too. Best advice you've gave me. Well, thank you. Where is Angry Photographer's portfolio? I don't know. Do you ever shoot in Utah? I'm sure I could. I love Arches National Park, stuff like that. Oh, by the way, guys, I should have mentioned this earlier. I'm taking off to Honduras in 3 days. We're going to be there for about a week and a half. Kristen's not coming. She had previous engagements. Jason and I are going. We're taking a model and a volunteer assistant, Ashton and Brenda. It's going to be awesome. And after that, we have workshops. We'll be there through the end of the month. After that, we'll be in Niagara. We'll be in Vancouver, Canada for a workshop. Then we're going to be in Niagara Falls for a workshop. Then we're going to go to the Cary Furnace and do that's an abandoned steel mill that we have permission to shoot at for 2 days. Fashion shoot. It's going to be amazing. That's September 13th and 14th. Then we're going to go to Photokina, and we're going to do a workshop in Germany. We're doing one in London, and we're trying to do one in Paris too. All right. No meltdown, Jason. I think we all know at least one guy who fits that description. Guys, when it comes down, I'm not just talking about the angry photographer, okay? I'm not just talking about him. There are a lot of YouTubers who are not really photographers. They're guys who go out and take pictures, but where's their actual work? Where's their paid work? Where's work that they were actually given and hired to shoot? Not just stuff they just go out and flit around a park and shoot. Are you kidding me? Holy mother freaker. I can't believe the stuff that's out there. Ugh. Okay. The swamp shoot was awesome. Thank you, Chuck. What did you buy? What did you have to buy her? Too much? I love technical websites like DP Review to check out what gear I need. Just technical info, no blah, blah. Yeah. Good luck with that. Hey, Jason, one question. How does the 85 G Master compare to the 85 Minolta 1.4? I don't know. I haven't used the 85 Minolta. Okay. The cemetery interview was great. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. The swamp shoot was amazing. I didn't get into the muck, but fun to watch you guys get dirty and hold the G Master while you shot with a 35. Absolutely. That lens should go to prison. I don't know what they're talking about. Maybe I can help the angry photographer with his website. No, he already accepted money from people to do that. He should probably fulfill that commitment. Let me see. You just noticed the big microphone? I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it. Okay. The Canon 50mm 1.2 rocks. Yes, it does. Sorry about your loss. Thank you. You don't have much luck in Dallas. I do not. Come to Omaha. We won't steal your stuff. I appreciate that. The Sony Zeiss 35-1.4 is so money. My favorite 35mm ever. Well, if it's your favorite ever, then the money's no. You kind of lose sight of the money. I like the 35-1.4 Zeiss. I would like it a little smaller, though. Well, if it was smaller, it wouldn't be as good of a lens. Like the 35mm 2.8 for Sony Zeiss, for the E-mount, it's okay. It's not. It doesn't blow my socks off. We love you. Isn't that enough? Oh, I love you, too. Do you use OSS or IBSS when you shoot? I don't turn any of that. I mean, I use the 5-axis image stabilization inside the cameras. Yeah, I love that. I absolutely love the fact that Jason gets out there. His trips to Addis Ababa was astounding. Well, thank you. We're going to Honduras. We're going to be doing that type of stuff again. The Scottish Angel Beth shot. Frank, let me see. Your photos and videos are some of the best on YouTube. Thank you very much. The Zeiss 35mm is amazing too. Thank you. Your photo seminars are amazing. Love the Minneapolis seminar. Might try to get to the Cary Furnace seminar. You need to, brother. It's going to be amazing. No, you don't take care of your here. Okay. Can you come to Belgium? We'll see. The 35mm 135 is awesome. 90mm stupid sharp. Love that lens. Frank Barraza, love that lens. When you say a 35mm is a walk around lens, does a 2.8 work? Sure, it works, but nothing like a 1.4. I'm using a Tamron 15-35, which is a good lens, which is fantastic. Then plan to get the G Master 85 and already have the 70-200. Good. For low budget photo, is it a sin? A photo sin to use extension tubes instead of actual macro lenses. Nothing's a sin. You just won't get as good of results. But if extension tubes are what work for you, go for it. Who cares what the sins are? Screw the industry. Screw what people tell you you're supposed to do. Screw them. A lot of them have no freaking idea what they're even talking about anyway. All right. I'm in love. You know, a lot of these people. I'm going to get off on another rant. I'm in love with the Tamron 28-75 for most of my wedding shots. Cool. How about another trip here to the UK, Jason? We'd love to hear you. Dude, September 27th to 28th of this year. We're talking in 2 months. We are coming to London again. You got to come to the workshop. Macro shooting makes you feel peaceful. Yeah. Well, I got a cheap extension tube for my 55. It's not bad at all, considering the crop capacity of the A7R2. Exactly. My lens for weddings. Okay, fantastic. Sign up now. Yep. Up a level. Yes, macro is another word. World. 80% of my wedding is taken using the 24-70. Yeah, that could be true. Ice stick extension tubes. Perfect. Check out his meetup page. Thank you. I never saw that, Lynette. Perfect, perfect. I'm having a hard time affording the regular lenses and don't do enough macro work to justify it. That's why I'm wondering about the tubes. Yeah, you just got to find what works best for you. I couldn't afford all the nice stuff at first, so you just got to make do. I'm also thinking about using it on my 55-210. Thanks. Where do you guys sell use Sony gear? I don't ever sell gear. That's from Gandalf Gray. You shut up, us. I keep it in the knobs on my 70-200. That blows. Have you tried the 70-300? No. You forgot your sunglasses. Gray, have not sold any yet, but got all mine on eBay. I tried 70-300. Mine was 100K, blah, blah, blah. What does he use for ultra-wide? Sony? Yes, the 16-35. If you shot a lot in the 70-200 range, or 70-200 for counter knock, it's worth it. I sold mine. Almost never used it. Fantastic. It's surprisingly good, actually. I fell in love with the two f2 25 Batis. Yeah, it's good until you've used the 35. Exactly, the aperture lets it down. Sorry, just joined. Can you please list the lenses you use for wedding photography? No, but you can watch this video again. I personally prefer the Tamron 15. Yeah, it is a very nice lens. I did use that at WPPI this last year. I'm gonna try to 18 millimeter Batis. That'd be cool. For low budget photo, is it a okay? We already covered that. Round of applause for Jason. Thank you for all your help. Thank you. Yay, sunglasses. Which rhodolite do you use more often and why? Which rhodolite do you use more often and why? Which rhodolite do you use more often and why? Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. I use the Neo. Just sheer fact because of its portability. So what is your opinion on the Sony 18-105? That's a great question. The 18-105 is pretty awesome, especially for a G lens. It really is a very nice lens, and it's a crop sensor lens. So you just have to know that. But for like a A6300, A6000, it's fantastic. Paulzer 32. What up, Jay? Thoughts on polarizers? They're okay. I have nothing against them. I just don't use them very often because they darken what I'm looking at. Bo Warrington asks, workshop age. Now, we've had people at the workshops who are as young as 10. Now, that's not normal. That's more of an exception. But, our workshops, we don't have nudes or stuff like that. So minors are definitely allowed to come. Rox Abba. Roxette. I can't recommend Jason's workshops enough. I was at his LA workshop in May, and it was a fantastic experience. If you get the chance, guys, take one of his workshops. You will learn a lot. Muchas gracias. How do you feel about the 35-1.4? It's my second favorite lens. Have you seen any drawbacks with the firmware 3.2? I don't know. I don't even know if I put it on my camera yet. Trevor Pinicky goes like this. Perfect. Arshid Fakir says, hi, I would like to thank you for sharing your knowledge with all of us. Thanks a lot. You are welcome. Looking forward to seeing everyone who will be at the Vancouver workshop, says Patrick Fisher. I'm looking forward to seeing you, brother. Rick Cantel, are you going to be shooting at Comic-Con in San Diego? I doubt it. I am leaving for Honduras in 3 days. I have lots to get ready for. Donald Wilkins, Jason Lanier for president. Yeah. All right, perfect. Why not come to Finland? I just need a group. You guys get a group together. I will go anywhere in the world. You guys watching this video, you guys want me to come and do a workshop in your area? Just get a group together and I'll come. Okay, thanks, Jason. I have an NEX 5T, wondering if I should go with the cheap adapter and flash or reflector first, or even a regular rhodolite or something. Okay, buy nice or buy twice. So either get a Neo, rhodolite Neo, because you'll use that light for years, or get a nice reflector. But don't buy a cheap flash. It's a waste of money. Jason, there's a reflection coming off the sunglasses. But yeah, I know. That's why originally I didn't put them on, Brian McNair. Kiss my grits, mother freaker. Okay. All right. Movie picks. I know you don't use Sanavish. I know you don't use, where'd it go? God. Okay. I know you don't use Canon lenses often, but I'm looking at the 40mm Pancake as it's the only affordable glass for me to shoot portraits. Can you give me a hint on that? I have never used it, Movie Picks. My apologies. I'm going to take these off. All right. Spudadult says, Jason, what type of shooting do you use the 50mm focal length for? I'd use it for weddings and for portraits. If one of your sons, yes. Insight Ein says, will you ever be in Germany? I'm coming to Germany. I'm coming to Der Wiener Schnitzel to shoot with the Ludensteins and the Neuschwansteins and everyone else. So I'm coming to Munich for Photokina. We will be doing a workshop. Be there or you will miss out because I am a lot of fun. All right. What do you use for landscapes? 16 to 35. Hey, Jason, this is Farzan Aja says, hey, Jason, protective filter is good to use. I've asked before, but specifically for the WR Sigma. No clue about the WR Sigma, but I do use, as my voice cracks, I'm still going through puberty, I do use protective filters on all of my glass. Okay? Now I want to make something abundantly clear. Don't use cheap crap. Okay? I either use for my, these are UV filters. I either use the B&W made in Germany. I'm going to go visit their factory when I go there for Photokina. That was a lie. But B&W I use, or I use Zeiss. Don't use Hoya. Don't use Tiffin. What's the other one? Vivitar, whatever. I just threw up, but I try to make it a little bit more tolerable for the camera. Don't buy that crap. It causes lots of lens flare issues in your lenses, and it looks disgusting. Don't buy that stuff. Okay. Then look at this lens. You probably can't see it. Look how beautiful it is. Look how clean it is. All because all the garbage goes on this. I was shooting in Paris, France, in front of the Eiffel Tower, and my lens, somebody knocked my lens over, and when they did, I set my 16 to 35. This is Nikon days. Sent it down, and it was like this, right? It wasn't my sunglasses. It was something sharp. The lens goes like this. Pop, pop, fizz, fizz. Oh, what a relief it is. It drops it on this. Completely busted it, okay? Now, luckily, I had a filter on it. The filter busted. I got some wrench because it kind of twerked the screw mount. I got a wrench and cleaned out the glass and pulled the filter off. And then the lens underneath was perfectly fine, and I was able to shoot with it without stopping. So it's totally worth it. Now you'll spend $80 to $90 on the nice UV filters, but there's no lens flare issues. And when somebody throws, well, people throw stuff at me, but they may not at you. But when you get dirt on your lens, splash from the ocean, spit from a kid or an adult, whatever else may be out there, having a UV filter on it is a big help. I live in Baltimore. Any workshops here in the near future? We're trying to get one in DC because people really want us to come out there. What's your opinion on the Sony Zeiss 16 to 70 f4? It's a pretty good lens, but again, I tend to opt for the faster lenses. Thank you. Definitely buying. I have been debating. Okay. Jason's, if one of your sons wanted to be a photographer, would you encourage them or discourage them? Of course I would encourage them. I encourage them to live their dreams, and I would absolutely encourage them. Absolutely. Because the photography world is unfortunately full of a lot of people who don't want to learn how to expose. I'm in a mood today. I'm just warning you. People who don't want to expose for the skies. They just want to just go the cheap route, go the easy route, not learn the art of photography, the technical side of photography. So for those who do, you have an amazing opportunity to skyrocket and propel yourselves into bigger and better things because you actually give a sweet crap about your career, and you're going to be successful. How about them apples? That's what I would tell my son. All right. MedJ Commander sounds very official. I learned a lot from you, Jason. Thank you very much, and sorry for your personal loss. Thank you. What high-speed setup would you recommend? I think the best one, it depends. You know, I love pro photos. I shoot pro photos. The Godox is a really good system if you want the transceiver built in. Because right now I'm having a hypersync with the pro photos, and I'm hoping that pro photo comes out with a high-speed sync system soon. All right. Is it true that the A7R2 is not good for wedding photography? No, that is a load of steaming crap. Which one between all your lenses is just the essential one, 85 millimeter? How many people do you need in a group for you to come to a location? Usually we need at least 6, and then we'll book the rest once we announce a workshop. That's from Blaine Belisle. Luca Neef. What do you think are the new trends of photography, and in your opinion, how is changing the world of pro against new technologies that makes everything easier? Look, if you're a pro, you just take the stuff that makes it easier, and it makes your life easier, and you're even better. Pros who whine and complain, filter. Pros who whine and complain about technology are dinosaurs. Dinosaurs stuck in the freaking La Brea tar pits in Los Angeles. Jason, I love your photos. Well, thank you, FGH Casa de Dios Records. Tim Riffer says, ha, ha, ha. When are you coming back to Texas? Got to make sure they don't want to steal my stuff over there. How do you keep the Rhodolite Neo clear faceplate from twisting and coming off? You twist it and put it on. Sorry, Gordon. It was just you walked into that one. Favorite strap. Have you used the Moneymaker strap? I don't use any straps. I'm not into straps. Adam D. After your Niagara Falls appearance, how does Montreal sound? How many people are needed for you to consider coming? At least 6. Donald Wilkins. No, you have to close the feed with the sunglasses on. Angry face. All right, there you go. Bobby George. Jason, I'm from St. Thomas, man. I love your work. Well, thank you, Bobby George. Mr. Hayward says, Willkommen bei uns. Thank you. Willkommen, I know that means welcome. My random reviews 411 says, I didn't mean a cheap flash, you stupid idiot, Jason. I meant the cheap hot shoe adapter for the 5T. Sorry about that. If it's, yeah, it may work then. May work, my little chachi. Cassandra Wolf, are you coming to AUS? I don't know what that is. Just kidding. It means Australia. Yes, I am coming to Australia. I'll be there in November with my slickers on. I'll be in Australia. It's like I've had too much pre-workout. That's something's going on with me right now. Are you coming to Australia? I'll be there in November with Kristen and my team. So can't wait to see you guys there. Can you please explain how many people you need in a team? It all depends. All depends on what you do. Okay. Jesus Diaz, are you doing a workshop at WPPI? I always do every year, and you need to come. You need to come. It's going to be great. Hey, Jason, if you ran Sony and Zeiss, what lens would you release next? Boom. Best question of the night goes to Robert Holloway. It would be a 135. I have begged Sony. Sony, please listen to me. Please, please, please. Go back to my 10 reasons video. Sony, why don't you sponsor me, right? All right, here's another one. Sony, why don't you make us a 135 FE mount? Please. I'll do videos for you. All I want is a 135 FE. Why do I want a 135 when there's already a 135? Because I want a native lens. That's why, kiddos. All right, back to this regularly scheduled programming. Hey, Jason. What about what about ND filters? Not a big fan of ND filters unless I'm doing time lapse or really long exposure photography for landscapes. When should we jump to full frame, and should we get full frame lenses to start? That's from Nikki Minaj or Nikki MGTV. Yeah, I would do full frame lenses as soon as possible. Don't wait. The advice when people tell you don't put full frame lenses on crop sensor bodies, don't listen to it. Don't listen to it. Are you reading my lips? No new taxes. Don't listen to it, guys. Seriously. You put full frame lenses on your crop sensor body, so then when you upgrade to a full frame body, you have all of that available. And by the way, I've done multiple videos and shoots using full frame lenses on crop sensor bodies, and the shots look fantastic. Don't listen to that advice. All right. When are you coming to Miami or West Palm Beach, Jason? You piece of crap. That's from Kenneth Kelly. I'm gonna go. We were in Miami in. We're in Miami on. Reading future comments. We're in Miami in February or March, and that's what we did. It was amazing. If you get a group together, we can come back because we need to go to Cuba too. So we might as well go to Miami, then go to Cuba, take some great shots, and go from there. How about a Cuba workshop? That'd be amazing. All right. All right. Are you Brian McNair? Yes, sir. Grits smooched. Oh, and glasses off, I see. Yeah, in Vancouver. See you in Vancouver, baby. That's right, baby. I'll see you there. I'll see you there. You can kiss me. You can kiss my grits. All right. Major Motion Picture says, hey, Jason, you mother freaker. Why don't you never reply to people on Instagram, you piece of crap? I might have added a little bit to that. What he actually wrote was, why don't you never reply to people on Instagram? I do. Guys, I get lots of things over Instagram, Facebook, this stupid thing, crazy thing that I love that you guys are on called YouTube. But no, guys, the best place to get me is to be one of my Patreon subscribers, where if you go to patreon.com/Jason Lanier Photography, guys, that's where I do these types of live streams 4 or 5 times a month, and you can ask me questions, and I answer every single question on there. The other good place to go, guys, is facebook.com/groups/Jason Lanier Workshops. That's my university page. It's my workshops page, but you can post your images, get critiques, and everything. That's where you need to be, y'all. All right. Mark S4 says maybe because he's too busy. All right. Where are we at? All right. I get too caught up in this crap, and then I don't know where questions are. Have you ever tried the Samyang autofocus? Not yet. I will. What's a good camera for recording videos? My favorite is the A7S II. Who's the master Shonaf? Says, you're a photography god. Well, thank you. It's very nice of you. I probably blew out your eardrums with this. Thomas Oatsfiend says, what's your wish list for the next Sony G Master lens? 135. Med J Commander, welcome. Zag Sagma. Sounds like a fraternity or sorority. Good quality UV filter could be expensive as a front lens replacement, but the picture quality is better with the replacement. No, that's not true. Don't listen to that advice. If you're on the middle of a shoot, what are you going to go get your front lens element repaired? No, you're gonna take off the filter, and you're going to keep shooting. That's the whole purpose behind it, guys. It's your backup. Movie picks. How do you get models to shoot as beginner photographer? You pay them money, or you get really brand new models who need a portfolio really bad. Jason, what's your take on the current wedding industry's trend of using older medium format film cameras and their tendency to blow out a lot of those details, including the skies? There's a reason why if you Google my name, it'll auto-populate and it'll say Jason Lanier Fake Skies. It's because I'm such a huge proponent of people actually exposing for the earth and the elements in the earth, which includes the sky and clouds. So yes, I definitely am a huge fan of that, and I can't stand the blown out skies. Some pictures it's great, but it's lazy photography. Jason, what's your advice on the Sony 50mm 1.8? Oh, he's talking about the email. That's a pretty good lens for the email. Jason, tell Kristen happy birthday from me. I will. How do you get models to shoot as a beginner? We answered that. What should you get, A7 II or A7R2? I'm not a pro, just a hobbyist. A7 II probably be fine. Can I replicate high-speed sync shots of a Pro Photo B1 with the speed light? Maybe higher ISO? Not even close. Not even close. Tim Rifters, and I said that horribly on purpose because he wrote, LOL, I'm English. In English, you pronounce it as Rafers. Good to know. Jason, tell Kristen happy birthday. George, do you have a crush on Kristen? You have a crush on Kristen? My random reviewer says, ha ha ha, you are so right. If you pay $3,000 plus for a camera, it should come with all the cheaper cameras. Sure. Hello, sir. Good day. Thank you. Ropnar Tanker says, do you still believe that mirrorless is smaller after those huge G Master lenses? This comment is not an attack. Yes, I do. The physical size of the body of the camera is a lot smaller. Absolutely. What do you think makes you one of the best in the industry? Well, if people believe I'm one of the best in the industry, which I'd be very grateful if people believe that, I believe it's working hard, talent, and never giving up and listening to the haters. Robert says, large can't cheat physics. Sure. Okay. Robert Holloway, exactly. 135 FE, exactly. Hey, Jason, when will you be coming back to the UK to do a workshop? September 27th, 28th. Pixel Row asks, are you copying the Northrops? Copying the Northrops? I have no idea how you could ever confuse me with Tony and Chelsea Northrop. All love to them, but totally different channels. So, no, I don't think I would say that we're copying the Northrops. Thomas Oostveen, have you used the Nissan 700 flash? Yeah, I don't like Nissan stuff. Trying to keep up, guys. Used my rotolights on a shoot last night at the sunset, and the couple thought I was awesome. Thank you for guiding me. I'll post the pics later on Fat Face Facebook. Cheers, Monster Curryman. Awesome, brother. Daniel Gamboa, I finally got a Sony 6000. I shoot night life photos. What's the highest ISO I should use? Oh, I'd probably go 3200. I'd like to see a new 35 millimeter 135 STF lens. Perfect. Favorite app to download size? I have no idea. I don't do that. Ben Barash, what do you think of these so-called Instagram photographers? Look, I don't care where, if it's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whoever. I just like people who are actually photographers. That's not bashing newer folks. What I'm trying to do is place an emphasis on those who take the time to learn their craft and they care that they know what they're talking about, especially when they're going to be dispensing advice to other individuals who are very impressionable. Food for thought. If you're going to teach people, know your crap. Drop the memory card. All right. Have you used the 16 millimeter fisheye converter for the 28 millimeter f2? Talk to me here, brother. This is coming from that Lucido kid. What are your thoughts? I think the fisheye converters are pretty cool, but talk to me here. That's funny. Have I used it? No, I've used the fisheye converter on the. I think you're mistaken, brother. It's on the 28 millimeter. I think it makes it a 24, if I'm not mistaken. I have that lens, but it's on my other bag. And it was pretty good. Thanks, Jason. You're welcome. Do you think Sony will release a long telephoto like 100 to 400 or something like Sigma 150 to 600? I don't know. Rama Krishna Vladi says, going by change in technology, is it better to go for Sony Alpha A7R2 or Canon 5D Mark IV, 3? Do you recommend using EF lenses on Sony A7R2? Well, obviously, I'm going to recommend A7R2, not because I'm a Sony artisan. I'm going to recommend it because that's the choice I made. So it makes sense that I would recommend something that I've done. Now, the Canon lenses do work really well on the A7R2 and the A6300 and work pretty good on the A7 II. The other models, not so much. Make sure you have the Metabones Mark IV adapter. Fly High Sounds says, can you please make a video how to teach people how to expose for the sky? I can see what I can do, but you can also come to a workshop. Cha-ching. Cha-ching. Oi paso volare. Exactly. Says Noemi Fortini. My random review. Jason, you defiantly look like you have lost some weight. Keep up the good work, and thanks for answering all my cues today. You're welcome. I am defiantly losing weight. I'm also definitely losing weight, and I appreciate it very much. I'm working very hard. Humayan Mirza says, hi. Hello. Noemi Fortini says a bunch of tagging people. Perfect. Jonathan Connell says, if Sony were to make a 135, what would you use it for? Portraits. Love it for portraits. Wol Jik Bilski says, hey, son of a, not photo related, but you are using side address microphone. You should talk to the, oh, you want me to talk right to it? Is this better for you, brother? Is this better? I'm not going to do it. It looks weird. All right. When are you going to post the picture of you whipping Chris Galt? I don't. There's a picture of me whipping Chris Galt. I know I whipped him. What he's referring to at my Minnesota workshop, we found a horse whip in the middle of the woods. This is all a true story. Kristen picked it up. She gave it to me. I started whipping Chris Galt and everyone else in the group. Yeah, that's kind of how my workshops go. I'll leave it at that. I don't know if there's a picture of it, though. What is a good lens for amateurs looking to upgrade from a kit lens? Depends on what you shoot. Depends on what you shoot. And for the gentleman who gave me advice on the microphone, I appreciate that. I'll take that into account next time. I'm trying to keep up with these. There's mucho. All right. Thanks for your response to my question. All I need now is the next date you'll be in San Antonio or Austin so I can do a workshop of yours. Thank you, Duncan. Get a workshop group together and I'll be there. I love your idea of using Sony and A series, but main issue is lens. Well, at this point, in my opinion, all of the there's enough E-mount glass to fit 95% of what any photographer would do. Doogie Reed says, I love your work, bro. Thanks for all the inspirational videos. Thank you, Doogie. I did not read your comment in a weird tone, except that I'm just feeling kind of randy right now. Rama Krishna Valdi says, or Vadi says, Jason, your take on A7R2 versus Canon 5D series, your view on Canon lenses versus Sony A7R. I could do that. It might cause Armageddon on YouTube. Doug was asking about the new 50mm 1.8, not the regular E-mount, the nifty 54. Oh, that one. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. The 1.4 is going to crush it, but the 1.8 is going to be pretty good. And that's going to be true of Nikon or Canon too. Ropnell Tanker says, copying Tony H. Ha, 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 ha. Does Tony Northrup, or Tony N, yeah. Does he look like this? Does he shoot Sony? Does he travel around the world shooting crazy stuff? I don't know how these comparisons are coming. He does what he does. I'm fine with what he does. It doesn't impact my life, just like I don't impact his. I don't know how I'm copying him, though. That's very interesting. You'll have to explain that. And please, by all means, explain it here. I'd love to hear it. Show Gen X says, I've been a big fan of old Minolta. I'm sad. I thought he was going to say he's a big fan of mine. I've been a big fan of the old Minolta lens. They are surprising sharp for the price, especially the 50 to 300. That's awesome. Alex Ivan says, Jason, what do you think of the Sigma 50 to 100 for crop bodies? I haven't used it, so I don't know. Razor Vard, do you think medium format cameras will have some completion this year with the new mirrorless and the DSLR? Or it probably means competition. I think they already do. Drop the memory card. Perfect. Competition, no problem. What about the Pixel King Pros for high-speed sync? I think they work great. Forget all this photography stuff. Let's get the latest Fedora fitness tips. All right, work out all the time. Eat right. Eat your carbs and your sugars, like your naturally occurring sugars and fruit. Eat those in the morning. If protein shakes work great. Did I say work out? I work out 1 to 2 times a day, and I'm going to be the sexiest photographer on the earth. Then I'm going to do a video. Somebody's going to do a photo shoot of me, and I'm going to look fantastic, and I'm going to flip off the camera and say, F off, haters. Okay, I probably should end this video now. I'm getting a little crazy. George Coyle says, hey, Jason, have you used the Smooth Reflections app in the Sony, and what's your opinion on the apps in general? I haven't. I don't even know. I don't know if I know what it is. but I haven't used it, so I'm sorry, brother. I primarily just use the transfer app. Do you clean your sensors, or do you have it professionally done somewhere? Or any recommendations on cleaning kit if you do it yourself? Just use a dry cleaning kit. That's what I recommend. And yes, I think most pros, if they don't do it all the time, they have the ability and the comfort level to clean their own lenses. I don't think that's a problem at all. What can Sony do to make the A7R II better? An update. They need to improve the buffer. Rama Krishnavati, thank you, Jason. Would you edit on your phones? Not for client work, for posting stuff to social media, yes. Has that Fedora got the latest firmware update? Yep, sure does. All right, Len Swifford, fixing to buy the, you're fixing to fix. So you must be from the South. You're fixing to buy the A6300. Want to shoot my son's sports, football, basketball, baseball. Will the 70-200 f4 be sufficient? Depends on the light. Depends on how much light is in that said environment. If there's decent light, you'll be fine. If not, you may not. You may want to go for the f2.8. Any tips for shooting weddings in a very boring environment? Just think about the money you're making. That was from Goat Parts. Goat Parts. Okay. Gandalf Gray, FYI, I'm having some good luck with using Canon EF lenses with the MC11 adapter on A7R II until I can afford more. That's awesome. That's movie fantastico. Somebody's. Oh, okay. What the freak? I got 70. I'm not making this up. 74 text messages since I just started this. Crazy kids. All right. I love Sony full front, but I'm hopeful they can give us mirrorless medium format soon. I don't know. I mean, they already put it in the phase 1, right? They already put the Sony sensor in a medium format, but maybe that's just their answer. Alex Mia says, I'm on my way to Costa Rica with the A7S for video and A7I for stills. Any advice to avoid condensation other than common sense? Cheers. Yeah, you could put a rubber band around the mount between the camera body and the lens. That would probably help out a lot. My other advice is don't drop it in the ocean and don't spit inside of it when you're cleaning your sensor. Those are my recommendations. Oraio Manoni says, hi, Jason. Do you know if there's a chance to have a dual card slot for Sony E-mount camera soon? Maybe at Photokina? I have no clue. Sony doesn't tell me such things. I just don't know. Luis Lozano says, nice job, bro. Thank you. Andres Parra says, hi, Jason. This is Andres from Venezuela. Please tell us what you think of the difference between Nikkor lenses and Sony lenses in quality, image sharpness. I'm going to get tons of hate for this, but I prefer the Sony. I just do. Chris Shattock says, you won't be a sexier photographer than me. Oh, really? You want to go down this route? All right, bring it. When I get down to my ideal weight, we'll do a shootout. We'll see who's sexier. Chris Shattuck, however you say your name. You want to bring it? Let's bring it. All right. Let me see. I like you as well as the angry photographer says fly high sounds. That's all right. You know, people go through lapses where they lose all ability to reason. So if you find yourself liking somebody like that, I understand. Let me see. Gosh, so many questions. I cannot get to all these. Do you need a flash modifier? I can only do about 7 more minutes. I've got to go out, guys. Do you need a flash modifier to get good shots of the speed light? Pretty much. What do you think the next flagship from Sony will be? I honestly have no idea. They come out so fast, I can't keep up. Brandon Bach, LOL. There has to be a video. Insight. The next flagship from Sony will be a 75 megapixel sensor. Whoa. They just made, okay, go. Lucas Sniff, what good but non-reflex camera would you suggest for me everyday shooting or street shooting? It depends on your budget, brother. You gotta let me know. Sadly, there's not anything E-mount past 210 from Sony. You just gotta put the LEA3 adapter on the 70 to 400 in your set, or you put your camera into APS-C mode and you double it, or you not double it. You go up 50% more. Favorite camera bags? Think Tank. You get more publicity than money in YouTube. Well, yeah, there's no doubt about that. Jason, I love you, bro. You're on a roll today. See you soon. Hugs and kisses. XOXO Nacho Libre. Fantastic. Thank you, Lynette. I love you too, sweetie. Insight Eins, what's the gain of more pixel? I don't know. Is Kristen also with you and Photokina also like to say thank you? Yes, she will be. Louis Lozana, YouTube changed your life? It didn't change my life, but it definitely, well, it did change my life. It didn't, I was already progressing, but YouTube definitely was a big thing. I'm not getting into all that gain stuff, guys. I don't care about any of that. Eric Gilbert, my 85mm G Master is still making noise. Do I need to be concerned? Photos look great. That's what you care about. I did a video on the noise of my 85. I think it's fun. They are probably referring to live YouTube QA like the Northrops do, says Lazarus. Oh, because Chelsea and Tony Northrop are the only ones, and I'm not disrespecting them, but they're the only ones who do live Q&As? Are you guys on drugs? Not you guys. Just the people who think I'm copying them. Okay, so does Tony and Chelsea copy Angry Photographer? He does live Q&As? Come on. That's a little ridiculous if that's what it is. No, I laughed at the comment, which was comparing you to Northrop's. Okay. Hey, Jason, I liked your video on the way you shot that model with the use of just one reflector. And one more thing, which would be the best full frame DSLR under $3,000? I don't know. Maybe the D600. I don't know. I don't keep up with the DSLR market. Unlike other people, I talk about the gear I use versus just the gear that will get me hits. Drop the memory card. All right. Posting the shot of the riding crop. You're scaring me, Gordon. I don't know what you're talking about. Jason, you are the shiznit. I've been using Sony systems since the Sony A55 SLT, and thanks to you, I stuck with Sony when jumping to full frame. Awesome, brother. It isn't the same because you don't have real advantage of that. Okay. Blaine Belial, I'm quite interested in getting a group together for Saskatchewan, Canada. You know. What cost would be associated? It's $800 a person. And I'm not joking. That is the cost. Instead of buying a Canon 5D Mark III, I stayed with Sony and bought the A7 in early 2015 after watching your Y Switch video. Thanks, bro. Thank you. Thank you for your support. Whatever camera system you use, whatever works for you, fantastico. I just bought the Kodak Speedlight for HSS. What light modifiers would you recommend for the flash? Probably the Gary Fong. Do you know if the King Pros work with Bowen's mounts? They should work with anything. He already made a video about the 85mm noise. Okay, good. What cheap lens would you recommend for the A7R2, please? 50mm 1.8. What do you think in the next? Okay, if you could design your camera, what would you like to do? Get your arse to Salisbury, UK. Keep your videos coming, please. I need a faster buffer. Trevor Pittick, okay, he's talking to Chris Shattuck. Okay, I already talked about me being sexier than Chris. We all know that's the truth. Fars and Aga, maybe stupid question, but when you're updating A7R2, does it update the lens attached as well? No. Just but it will make updates in your camera that will enable your camera to work better with said lens. That's the way it works. Clint Ashley, Jason, or question. I heard you say on one video that you were into time lapse. Have you any videos on that? I do not as of yet. Jason, what's your opinion on the Beercan 7210? Says Luis Alexander Telesforo. It is the best lens out there for $100. Jason, great humor. Thank you. Alistair Robinson. And here's to you, Mrs. Robinson. Do Pixel King Pros work in high sync mode? That's Simon and Garfunkel, if you guys don't know. Keep up. Do Pixel King Pro? Yes, they work on the Bowens. Oh, I don't know. I've never used it. What do you think about the A6300 as a commercial shoot? Fantastic. 646 videos. Boring. Perfect. No idea what that means. Einsight Eins. What do you think of the next flagship from Sony will be? Oh, okay, almost done here, guys. Gavin Adams says, "Hey Jason, what would you recommend? Would you recommend flash or LED continuous for a wedding shoot?" Ooh, probably LED, but you need both. You really do. Mayar Amiri says, "Hi Jason, hello." Ukt Kars Anand says, "Thanks for answering my question." You're welcome. Does the G Master 85 work for macro? No. Ben XZO, any tips for finding stunning locations? Drive around a lot and listen to iTunes. That's no joke. That's what I do. Thanks, Jason. I'm a total newbie. Watched a lot of your videos. Thank you so much. I agree with you, Jason. Thank you. Trevor Pinicky, DAR. Okay, perfect. Well, guys, thank you so much. What octobox would you recommend for the Godox? I'd recommend the Westcott Rapid Box XL. That's how I'd recommend. Since you moved to Sony, keep going. Adam D. Since you moved to Sony, any aspects of the DSLR that make you wish that you blah blah blah? Just the buffer. The only thing is the buffer. Do you have just one fedora? No, I have about 10. What is your preference for light metering setting spot? I light meter with my eyes. Greg Bird, see you in Australia. See you later there. Fedorable. I saw Greg naked, so that was an interesting story. Thomas Osfeen, is there any need to do focus shift tests with Sony? No, not for me. Ak Fisho says, fantastic session tonight, Jason. Enjoyed every second. Looking forward to the next one. Awesome. Brad says, your opinion is legit to start with the APS-C kit and make it to your. Is it legit to start with the APS-C kit and make it to buy? Yes, it is. Thanks, Jason. Enjoy it. Thank you. Can you make a video or talk about that? Perry Galindo, great job. I always watch your videos. Perfect. Greg Bird says yes, it's on video. All right, guys. I love you guys. I gotta go. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this has helped. If you guys enjoy these sessions, please let me know. So until next time, keep shooting. Never give up on your dreams. Find the right gear and lenses that work for you. A very happy anniversary to my lovely wife. Today is our wedding anniversary. So Kara, I love you. Happy anniversary. Thank you for letting me do this on my anniversary. July 17th is my anniversary with Miss Kara Atherton Lanier. And an also beautiful happy birthday to my lovely assistant and model, Kristen, who also was born on the same day that I have my anniversary. So talk about numbers coming together. It's pretty cool stuff. So Kara, happy anniversary. Kristen, happy birthday. Remember, I love both of you. Remember that I love all of you guys on YouTube, and that I wish you guys a very wonderful anniversary and birthday if it happens to be your anniversary and birthday too. And remember, you only have one chance to get it right. Talk to you later. Muchas gracias. Adios. Au revoir. 안녕하세요. 안녕히 계세요. 입닥쳐. And remember, goodbye. Bye. Dun, 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 dun. Now this is a little awkward because I haven't shut this off. But I am looking, Chris, this is for Chris. Look at this jawline. Look at this. Let me Peter Hurley you guys real quick. All right, ready? Here we go. Chin forward, chin down. Blue steel. Bye, guys.